with darker hair. And also, Rumple, no! Hi everyone, let's talk about Once Upon a Time Season 6, Episode 19, The Black Fairy. First, some quick thoughts. I think I have one or two. One. Now that Zelina doesn't have any powers, she actually needs to learn how to drive. And my main question was, why wouldn't they try to find a car that was automatic? Why teach her, stick shifts when it's so important for her to be able to drive right now? It seemed like they really needed to get out of town, probably. And I'm like, maybe now is not the right time to teach her stick shift. At least if you get automatic, you just, accelerate, stop. I mean, it would still take a little bit of time for her to learn, but it would be easier, but at least I was sort of redeemed when she ran over the Black Fairy, so I was like, yeah. Now let's move on to the Black Fairy's flashback. As I expected, we found out a lot more about the Black Fairy's past, what led her to give up Rumple and all of that. I think there were quite a few unexpected revelations, at least for me. Obviously, that eventually she becomes the Black Fairy, but I kind of expected her to not be evil at first, and then something happens that makes her evil. What I did not expect is for Rumple to have been supposedly the savior when he was born. I was like, wait, what? He was supposed to be Emma? That's crazy. That prophecy of him facing, the greatest evil ever still came true, but it didn't come true for the same people. Well, I guess some of the same people. But what I think is interesting, and I guess you could argue about whether or not he was really meant to be the savior or if things kind of happened the way it was meant to happen, because if his mother, Fiona, had never heard the prophecy, then she would have never become the evil that the savior needs to defeat, right? So by giving the prophecy that Rumple was supposed to be the savior, then it leads to her becoming the evil, which then leads to the actual person that was meant to be the savior all along, Emma, to become the savior, right? So maybe he wasn't really ever meant to be the savior because it just was always meant to happen the way it happened, right? It's kind of twisted in that way. That's kind of the way I think about it. It's kind of similar as in shows when someone finds out what their future is and then they try to change it, and by trying to change it, they actually create the future that they were trying to, change. So I kind of felt like it was kind of like that. She heard the prophecy, and by hearing the prophecy and trying to change it, she actually created the prophecy, except in this case, it wasn't really about her son, but she did become the evil that will fight the savior. In the prophecy, it does say that the battle will actually kill the savior here, which is why she actually was trying to save Rumple from that fate, because she thought, well, he's gonna die. So if you believe that, then that means that Emma will die while facing the Black Fairy. But because Once Upon a Time is all about Emma, obviously I don't believe she's gonna die, but it's still worrisome. And then back in the present, after finding out why his mother gave him up and all of that, then Rumple has sort of a change of heart about her, because in a way he understands her reasons and he understands why he did that. Now for me, he actually did what she did to him to his kids. Right? He always tried to do the best for them, but by trying to do what he thinks is best for them, he sort of became evil. And I thought that there were two ways that this could have affected him. Either he thought, I understand and I forgive you because I do the same thing and I agree that you were doing the right thing by me. Or it could put in perspective what he's been doing to his kids, and he could have thought, oh, maybe I'm not doing what's right for my children because I don't think that what she did was right, even though she was trying to protect me. I wish she hadn't done what she did. But no, Rumple was like, oh, no, I understand, because he still doesn't see what he does as wrong for his children. So then he says, oh, right, so you're doing what I'm doing. All right, that's cool, I'll forgive you. Which I'm like, no, Rumple, no, the lesson here is no. It's not, oh, I understand. The lesson here is no. That's just, there's not a good reason. And even worse, I kind of think, well, aren't you kind of repeating what you're doing with Bellfire by betraying everybody in a way? Because, Gideon wanted to kill the Black Fairy. He doesn't really like her. She wasn't really nice to him. He doesn't think she's a good person. And then, of course, Belle probably is not going to agree with this. So, once again, Rumple's just doing the bad thing. And I'm just like, oh, this was such a great opportunity for him to kind of be like, oh, maybe what I was doing was wrong. But no, we're back to just regular Rumple, so great. So now he's teaming up with the Black Fairy, and that's just not a good thing for everybody else. I do also want to mention that small moment between Hook and Henry when he asked Henry to be his best man, and that's sort of setting up the next episode, which is the musical and the wedding. So I'm excited. Of course, I would love to hear what you thought of this episode. Do you agree with me that Rumple just came to the wrong conclusion about what his mom did to him? And did you enjoy actually watching and finding out more about the Black Fairy? I did. I'm sorry this review is coming a little late. I was traveling again, but the good news is the next review will be right on time because I was able to actually watch next episode of the series early, and so my review will be up right after the episode airs on the East Coast. So, there you go. And in case you're wondering, yes, the episode is pretty amazing, especially if you're a fan of musicals, then you're gonna love it because I loved it.